Today we will continue our class with uh, chapter 2.2, I reckon, and this is about file systems with the operating system. In the previous class, we have stopped until this section. So today we will continue with the single level directory, two level directory, tree structure, cyclic graph directory, and the general graph directory. So basically, the first single level directory is the olden days operating system and is not much used these days in the new operating uh, systems. Okay, but let's go into detail about each level directory. In the single level directory, you will have the operating system will set the directory or the folder here, and each of the folders or directory has their own files. So in this case, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 directories or 9 folders. So you have each folder, each file. So which makes you have 9 files. Okay. But the only advantage is, I would say, each folder can have one file. Okay. And each file, the file names can be same. So meaning under folder cat, there can be a file called x1. X1 can also be replicated. It can also be another file name in document 2, document BO, and so on, even though the contents of the file is different. Okay, so you can have similar file names in this situation. However, the disadvantage is you will have naming problems. So which, let's say you are looking for a specific file called x1, but x1 is all over the place, and each directory has a file called x1. So by having that, so you have a naming problem, which actual file you are referring to. And you will also have grouping, meaning you cannot group the files according to their type. Let's say, for example, you want to group the files according to type PDF, but you are unable to do so because each of these files are located in different directories. So if you have all of them in one directory, then you can group them in different types. However, you have them all in different locations, thus you cannot, the operating system cannot group them according to their types. The second one is two-level directory. Two-level directory looks at two levels. This is level 1 at the top here and level 2 below here. So level 1, you will have the users of the operating system. Examples are here. And each user would have their own set of directories. Own set of directories. I repeat, own set of directories. Meaning user 1, you will have this set. User 2, this. And user 3, this. And user 4, this. This means under user 1, they have a folder called cat, and this cat has a file name, this one here. Alright, so in this situation, you can have the same file name, but in different types of users. So user 2 can also have the same file, and user 3 can also have the same file. And user 1, 3, 4, and 2, and 1 can also have the same directory name. This example is A, and A. Right? So separate directory for each user. Again, each user will have separate directories. Has a path name. Yes, I will show you on later what is the path name. Path name is basically the path how or where is the file located. Say for example, we are looking for this particular file, x1, the name of the file. It's located under directory called cat, and it's located under user called user1. So this is the path name. Can have the same file name and different user. Okay, same file name but different user. It's quite simple. Efficient in searching, yes, because The files are all now in one location. Thus, you can do a search. Let's say you want to search the number of PDF files in user one, so you can do so. You can just search all the PDF files in user one's directory account. However, you are unable to do grouping. You cannot do grouping. Let's say you want to group all your PDF files, all your Word document files. You are unable to do so simply because each folder can only have their own set of files. It's not shareable. Okay, let's say in CAT you have 10 PDF, here you have 20 PDF, here you have 30 PDF, here you have 4 PDF. But if you do grouping, it's only applicable to one directory. You cannot group all the PDF from other documents from other directories into one location. It is not possible here. Okay, so the two-level directory has something which is called the UFD and MFD. MFD is the master file directory and UFD is the user file directory. So there are certain points why we need the master and why we need the user. Since you are, if you look back here, this diagram, both user accounts belong to one operating system. All right. So you would have something which is called the master file directory, and you have something which is called the user directory. So what it does is because inside the because both of these users are in one operating system, so both of these users need to have the program files or the system files belonging to the operating system. So what are the system files? The two system files which is required, which is the program files and the Windows file, the two over here. However, since you have four users, so these files will be replicated into four, about four times. Program files and Windows here, program files and Windows here, program files and Windows here, program file and Windows here. So by doing so, okay, by doing so, the master is in charge of finding out who has what file. So by doing so, it will not only it will create much more problem simply because you will have the same file copied in four different locations. So if there's any problem in the Windows file folder, you have to rectify four different locations. So what is the operating system suggest? Okay, you will create a user called user zero, which is actually the administrator admin account of all the users inside the operating system. So only there you can download, sorry, you can install a new folder, you can install a new file, you can update programs on. So there is no need for the operating system to replicate system files across four places anymore. So this is how it looks like. So you have the program files and the Windows files down here. Next, we move on to tree structure file system. Tree structure file system looks something like this. Okay, there is a tree. It looks something like a tree, and you have each directory and each file all connected into one. Okay, so you can have a directory inside a directory and a folder inside a folder. Okay, and it's all connected. You can have multiple file names in different locations. The same file name in different location is also possible in this tree structure. Okay, so this is how a tree structure looks like. This is the common tree diagram that I think most of you have seen. Inside a folder, inside a directory, you have a folder. Inside a folder, you have subsequent folders, and you have so many files here. Okay, generalization of two-level directory. Each user has a current directory, which is the working directory. Can change current directory via cd command and what we say as the system call. Right? So I'll show you in shortly what is the cd command. Cd command is what we say as the change directory command. It is basically used inside the DOS operating system. Okay, So you have a working directory. The working directory means that is the default directory that allows the user to access. Okay, so this is by default. This C directory or this user directory becomes the working directory for each site user. So if you have four users connected to the operating system, four user accounts, so you will have four different user directories, working directories. And each of these working directory will have its own documents, its own pictures, its own video, and so on, independent folders. So let's say I'm now in document number one. Okay, I create, let's say that's correct here. Let's now, sorry, let's say I create a Word document under user number one. So user number one's Word document will not be shared into user number two and so on and so forth. All right. So this is what we say as the absolute. So we have a path name. So this is a syntax. Okay, I'll show you. Here we are. So this is the path name. We have two types of path name. One is the absolute path and one is the relative path. The absolute path is the exact location of a particular file. So the path, okay, this is the path, this is the file name .png, and this is the absolute path. The absolute path shows the exact location based on the folders before it and the directories before it. Okay, it's inside this folder, which is inside this folder, which is inside this folder, which is inside this folder, and this folder is inside this directory. Okay, in terms of relative path, it shows is in a different. A relative path is actually only pointing to the exact or the last folder in the absolute path. Okay, as you can see here, the file name is giant, which is in the clam. So relative path will only point you to the last folder before reaching the file. Okay, so what is the benefit of having both? The benefit of having either one is one, absolute path, meaning it will take the operating system a shorter time to locate a particular file because it already knows in which location to locate the file. I must locate in drive C, inside this folder, inside this folder. However, a relative path makes it much more simpler for programmers to write the syntax, but it creates longer time for the operating system since it has to go through one folder after another folder to locate the file because it does not have the absolute path. It has only the relative path, which is the last folder connecting to the file itself. Okay. So what are the advantages of having a tree structure? It's much more efficient in searching and you can do grouping capabilities. Okay, you can group them together. So this is how you create a file. Sorry. Delete a file, remove rm, make directory, and this is how you delete a file or folder. Okay. And next we go into a cyclic. A cyclic means each you have something which is called the link. It only shows you the link. So this both, even though you have count under a different folder here, but actually these two are maybe different. They are different folders. However, they are only pointing to one. It's something like they're both sharing the same file, however, in different locations. You can also say this as, let's say, for example, Count Ali and Count Ahmad are two different people, but both are sharing one file. So this guy will update here and this guy will update here. Same as this you can have a folder pointing to another folder, pointing to the same file, and even this folder is pointing to here. Right? This is what we say is a cyclic graph directory. Okay? A situation where programmers are working on a joint project, files pertaining to the project can be stored in a subdirectory for each user shared subdirectory. Uh, Meaning you are, let's say for example, you're working on the same project, and on the same file, then you can share this file into two people can share this file, and we use the term called shared subdirectory. Okay, shared files are not the same as two copies. No, they are not the same. They are one file, but can be accessed by both parties. Sometimes people use directory link like this. Okay, you can use a link here, a shortcut link, to actually point to that particular file. So whoever has this link can access that particular file, and anyone does. Okay. If you were to read and write now, it is possible. It was this. Whoever reads can only read. Whoever writes can only write. Now with the technology, you have live update. You have cloud storage, so that's slightly a bit more advanced. Okay. Why in a cyclic? Why do we need a cyclic? Is we want to avoid duplication. We want to avoid the same file, but only updated on one side, it's not updated on the other side. So that's why we allow a cyclic graph directory. Uh, However, a cyclic graph directory is more flexible, but it's more complex because you have to know the path name and different files. Although it has the same name, but it's actually referring to the same file. Okay. Cyclic graph directories again. You have the naming issues. Some of the naming issues, you have both folders having the same name, both folders. But although it is allowed, but it will create problems in terms of searching and grouping because which file or which group to search. Okay, so if you want to avoid searching, okay, so this is you want to avoid because you are searching it twice. That means you are also searching. Let's say count for two folders are pointing to the same file, so the operating system will check for folder A and it will come up with a file, and then it will search for folder B and also come up with a file. So two, it will search twice, although both search are only referring to one particular file. Another concept which we need to understand is file mounting. Mounting takes place before a computer can use its storage device. The user of the operating system or the operating system make it accessible to the computer system. So a mounting means a concept whereby the operating system allows a hard disk or the storage disk to be connected to the operating system. Thus, by allowing it to be connected, file transfer can be done, any file operations can be done. This concept also works on your handphone, mobile phone. You can when you allow mounting or you disallow mounting, if you allow mounting, that means you can access your SD card, so on and so forth. But if you disallow your SD card, then you are unable to see the contents of your SD card. So this is how you do mounting. You click on the icon here, map the network directory, and once you have remounted, mapped it or mounted, you can just you can just access the file from where you can access the contents of that folder or directory. Okay, and yeah, you can also do mounting through the server, meaning you are here, but you want to access but you are in location A, but you want to access a particular file in location B, or sometimes in the same office with different departments, so you can allow mapping of drives or mapping of files. So basically, this is how the diagram looks like. We have the concept called unmounted partition. When we say unmounted, meaning it is not connected, thus the user or the operating system cannot use it. So if it's mounted, then you can see each of these circles here is connected, and once connected, is connected to the drive, which is shown here. So users are connected to J, which is connected to program, and which is connected to the Word document over here. Sharing allows a certain file to be shared across the network, okay, or across the system. You have the owner, you have the group, and you have user. meaning if you are the owner of the file, then you have full access, or if you belong into a group, you can also have full access, or you belong to no one but in the system, but you still can access the system, right? So that is called sharing of files. So sometimes you are given user IDs or group IDs. Sometimes you are also can connect to your file system through something which is called remote file system. You are in two different locations outside the office of the school, but you can use the internet, or you can use something which is called, this program is called file transfer protocol, where you can use the internet or the telephone line to connect to your phone, sorry, to connect to your files in your school or house or room or office. Okay, so I think I shall stop for now because this is a bit more technical here. Let me just go on by showing this. Okay, maybe I can just continue this. File protection. Okay, each file is created and each file has an owner or a creator and has a user. So meaning what can be done by the owner, creator, or what can be done by the user or the owner itself, or by who can delete this particular file, who can read this file, who can access or who can execute and so on. So we have a concept which is called the owner access, group access, public access. Public is whereby you can only, as you can see here, 001 means you can only execute, you can only run the file, but you cannot change anything, you cannot do anything, you cannot even read on the file. Group access, you can read, write, but you cannot execute. Or the owner of the file, you can read, write, and execute. This is types of mode of the particular file. Okay. In this example, we are showing you how to change the mode of a particular file. The file name is called game, GAME, and this is the command 761, and this means change mode 761 folder game, meaning you want to change the mode, the access mode of a particular file, which is game, using this number 761. 7 means 111, 6 means 110, 1 means 001. So that is translated by the system as read, write, execute, and group has read, write, read and write access. So the public can only access. So thus, if you convert it into operating system language, you have D, which means the directory, R, okay, DR, okay, RWX, which is this one, RWX. Then the second one is RWX, sorry, okay, RWX. Second one is RW, okay, because it's a zero here, so it becomes a dash. And the final one is 001, so there is no R, there is no W, there is only one X. Sorry, one X, which is this one, dash dash X. Okay, all right. Uh, okay, so this is another example, the same thing. I took it from one of the final exam questions. Maybe you can do this and try and do this and let me know if you have any problems in the comment below. If you have any questions as well, please highlight your questions on the comment below and I will see you in the next class. So we stop at slide 57 and we will continue again in the next class. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.